Hi everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to talk about how to prevent razor bumps and ingrowns after waxing. Whether you're new to waxing or if you've been waxing for years, there's always something new to learn. So make sure to watch this video till the end, so you won't miss any of these tips. Now, most people would say that razor bumps and ingrown hairs only occur when shaving, but that is not quite true. It can also happen after waxing. And even though it might be less likely to happen after waxing than it is with shaving, it still can happen. And I am going to teach you some methods and products you can use to help prevent those from happening. Before we get into it though, make sure you like and subscribe because it really helps out. The first thing that you should do to prevent razor bumps and ingrown hairs after waxing is to exfoliate 24 hours before your wax. This will help remove dead skin cells and bring fresh skin to the surface. This is going to help the wax grab onto the fresh skin and pull the hair right out of the follicle instead of just pulling on the dead skin. And it's pretty easy to do this. You can either use a physical scrub, which I like to use, or you can use a chemical exfoliant. Now, if you're going to use a physical scrub, you want to make sure that the scrub is too harsh, because you don't want to cause any damage to the skin. So look for one that has small, smooth beads that won't leave any nicks or cuts in the skin. And if you're going to use a chemical exfoliant, look for one that contains glycolic or salicylic acid. These acids will help dissolve dead skin cells and unclog pores, which can help reduce the risk of razor bumps and ingrown hairs. Next, you want to make sure you use a clean, sharp wax strip or wax tool. A dirty wax strip or tool can introduce bacteria into the skin, which can cause irritation and inflammation. And dull wax strips or tools can pull on the skin and break the hair, which can lead to razor bumps and ingrown hairs. So make sure that every time you wax you're using a clean, sharp wax strip or wax tool. Another thing that you should do after waxing is avoid touching the area. It might seem impossible, but try to avoid touching the area for at least an hour after waxing. Touching the area can transfer bacteria from your hands to the skin, which can cause irritation and inflammation. And it can also cause the skin to become red and sore. If you have to touch the area for some reason, make sure you wash your hands thoroughly before doing so. And consider wearing gloves while you're touching the area. The next thing that you should do after waxing to prevent razor bumps and ingrown hairs is apply an anti-inflammatory serum. An anti-inflammatory serum can help calm the skin and reduce redness and swelling. It can also help reduce the appearance of razor bumps and ingrown hairs. There are a lot of different anti-inflammatory serums out there that you can choose from. My favorite one that I like to use is the Calm Balm from a skincare company. This serum is lightweight and absorbs quickly into the skin without leaving a greasy residue. It's also fragrance-free and suitable for sensitive skin. But if you don't want to use a serum, you can also apply a cold compress to the area. A cold compress can help reduce inflammation and soothe the skin. You can make a cold compress by taking 2 clean cloths, soaking them in cold water and placing them on the area for 10 to 15 minutes. Now let's move on to what you should not do after waxing. First off, after you've just waxed, you want to avoid touching the area like we already talked about, but you also want to avoid wearing tight clothing over the area that was waxed. Tight clothing can rub against the skin and cause irritation and inflammation. It can also cause the skin to become red and sore. So make sure to wear loose-fitting clothing after waxing. Another thing that you should avoid after waxing is hot baths and saunas. A hot bath or sauna can cause the skin to sweat and become wet. This can create a breeding ground for bacteria, which can cause irritation and inflammation. So it's best to avoid hot baths and saunas for at least 24 to 48 hours after waxing. And another thing that you should avoid doing between waxes is shaving. I know that some of you might think that shaving is a good way to remove unwanted hair in between waxes, but it's actually not a good idea. Shaving can cause the hair to grow back thicker and darker. It can also cause razor bumps and ingrown hairs, so it's best to avoid shaving in between waxes. Instead, you can use depilatory creams to remove any unwanted hair that grows back in between your waxing appointments. And if you're not sure what depilatory creams are, basically they're creams that contain chemicals that break down the bonds that hold hair together. This allows the hair to be wiped away from the skin's surface. The one that I like to recommend is called Nair. The next thing that you should do after waxing to prevent razor bumps and ingrown hairs is use ingrown hair pads or treatments. Ingrown hair pads or treatments can help prevent razor bumps and ingrown hairs by exfoliating the skin and opening up the pores. This allows the hair to grow out of the follicle without being trapped under the skin. You can find Ingrown hair pads or treatments at most beauty supply stores or online. One of my favorite Ingrown hair treatments is from a skincare company. This treatment is designed to help prevent and treat razor bumps and ingrown hairs. It contains ingredients that help exfoliate the skin and open up the pores, which helps to prevent razor bumps and ingrown hairs. The next tip is to keep your skin moist. Keeping your skin moisturized will help prevent razor bumps and ingrown hairs by keeping the skin hydrated and supple. This makes it easier for the hair to grow out of the follicle, without being trapped under the skin. So make sure to apply a moisturizer to the area after waxing. The last thing that you should do to prevent razor bumps and ingrown hairs after waxing is to stick to a consistent waxing schedule. By sticking to a consistent waxing schedule, you will help prevent razor bumps and ingrown hairs by removing the hair before it has a chance to grow back in and become ingrown. And the length of time that you should wait in between waxes will vary depending on the area of the body that you re-waxing and the individual's hair growth cycle. But typically you should wait until the hair has grown back to about 1/4 inch before waxing again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments section below.